The ultra-wide category has a new player as Tamron just introduced their new 12-20mm f2.8, which is 4mm wider than anything they've made for full-frame mirrorless. I took it from Manhattan sidewalks to a 100-year-old garden to the Catskills skies over the weekend, so let's go. Actually, before we go anywhere, this Tamron full-frame 12-20mm is a constant 2.8 across the range, comes in Sony E and Nikon Z. It's small for what it does at about 570 grams for the Sony and 585 for the Nikon. It has VXD linear motor autofocus, 17 elements in 12 groups, minimizing distortion, chromatic aberration, and sagittal coma flare. 7-inch close focus at the wide end, D-clickable aperture ring, iris lock, zoom lock, custom switch, USB-C for the Tamron Lens Utility app with Tamron Link, where you can set the custom buttons and switches. Okay, now to the shoot. First thing I did is what I usually do. Hit the streets of New York. Look, honestly, 12mm is not a go-to street focal length. Street shooters usually go 20mm at the widest, which luckily this also does, but I wanted to push the lens as much as possible. In Freeman Alley, you can feel the building engulf the shot, placing your viewer smack in the middle of the location. Verticals are pretty clean if you keep it level. I took a moment to shoot some video here to display how the lens shows movement. I stopped by the Morgan Library and Museum to capture some interiors. Easy to say, this lens didn't feel confined once. Then the trick. 7-inch close focus, drawing your attention to a specific point while still giving you context of the location. Street photography lens? Not really. Architecture and context lens that can survive street? Absolutely. Just be ready to have your leveler turned on. The frame is so wide, you may lose your center point here and there. I drove up to Untermyre Park in Yonkers, a century-old walled garden built around symmetry, which is exactly what an ultra-wide wants to eat. Here, 12mm earns its money on scale. Stand at the reflecting pool and the whole thing, columns, water, sky, lands in one frame. Geometry pulling you straight down the center. No stitching or backing into a hedge. I wanted to keep getting low to the ground and finding that foreground, emphasizing the grand scale of the structure as if we were ants looking up. On the other side, for the more straightforward images, I didn't find much distortion while still capturing a wide scope. These types of lenses shine in a place like this. Finally, I couldn't shoot this lens without including some astrophotography, so I took it to the Catskills after dark. I shot mainly 12mm, ISO 1600 at a 15-second exposure, which created a good balance without having to push the ISO too much. A big help was Tamron's Lens Utility and Tamron Link, where I can program my focus and not fiddle with it in pitch black. I noticed some campers in the distance setting up a fire, which in this shot added some color contrast and interest. This is where it stops being versatile and it starts being a specialty lens. A 2.8 ultra wide that controls coma is the exact tool for something like this. Look, I'll be honest, Astro is not my specialty, so be gentle in the comments. So who's it for? It's for people that want to shoot architecture and interiors. And if you've been stuck at a 16 and wanted to go wider. Or if you shoot landscape and Astro and you want one wide zoom that does both, instead of buying a second prime. This 12-20 is sharp, well corrected, and it's light enough to carry all day across different scenarios like the ones I shot. 12mm is a specialty wide. If you don't already know why you want it, you might not. But if you do, this one is a great option. For more information, visit Adorama.com, link below. If this was useful, subscribe. We do this every time something interesting lands. So see you on the next one.